Good morning, everyone. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning, and welcome back to another live stream. How's everybody doing today? How's everybody's week going so far? Very excited to get back on here with you all. Another day, another opportunity to gain more conviction in our business. I hope everybody's week is going well. I hope everybody's ready for today's session. Going to take some time to welcome everybody into the live stream before we get into any information today. Hey, good morning, Rum. Good morning, Abdallah. Good morning, Saju. Good morning, Kim. Good morning, AS Trader. Good morning, Spartan. Good morning, Mock. Good morning, Ascent. Good morning, Jenny. Good morning, Anwar. Good morning, Maya. Good morning, Legacy. Good morning, Rich. How's everybody's day going so far? How's everybody's week going so far? Good morning, One Girl Trader. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Hope everybody's day is going well. Hope everybody's week is going well. Going to give some time for people to join before we get into any conversations here. Good morning, Khalifa. Hope your day is going well. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Or good day, depending on where you're from. How's everybody's week going so far? Good morning, good morning, good morning. Very excited to get back on here with you all. For anybody new here, as we've said, we will be live streaming here on YouTube in 2026. The stream also gets sent over to Twitter as well, so we're also live on Twitter. We plan on doing that Monday, Wednesday, Friday from 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Quick update on that, actually. I have to travel on Friday, actually, so perfect timing for this, but first day I'll miss is this Friday. I need to travel down to Florida. There's some content that we are making, so I need to go to a studio. I will be filming some long-form stuff, some podcast stuff, some short-form stuff. I need to get to work in Florida Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So that means Friday morning stream will be canceled. So for a good reason, I think the content that's going to come out, you guys are going to highly benefit from. There's going to be a lot of value from it. So not going to dive into the context of it, but we are doing as much as we can in terms of recording, as much as we can in terms of giveaways, as much as we can in terms of content. So Friday morning, we will not be live streaming, but still with that being said, Monday, Wednesday, Friday is our normal live stream schedule. We will be live streaming here on YouTube and on Twitter, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Then 10 a.m. is when I move over to My Funded Futures YouTube channel. I also live stream on MFTV. Those live streams are from 10:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So, just making sure everybody's aware of the schedule. I make announcements for it so you can see it across the social medias or in Discord. That way everybody is alerted for when we do go live. Now, the purpose of these lives. One, it's a learning experience for myself. Okay, so getting to hear and see what I'm thinking during the time of, getting to see my executions replayed when I go back to watch it. Those are all learning opportunities. That's the same exact thing to why I document in Discord, why I document on Twitter. I'm a firm believer of repetition. Okay? I need to learn via visuals. I need to learn via hearing. I need to learn via writing. So I get multiple forms of documentation done so that when I go to learn from these prior experiences, I have multiple learning opportunities. I highly suggest everybody else does it. You should be doing this too. Your journal is going to be your best friend. It's going to be your best learning opportunity. It directly reflects your abilities and your statistics. So that is why I'm here. All right. I'm here to learn and work. I'm here to grow as a trader. All right. I'm specifically saying this because I'll be executing right in front of you all. And you need to understand that this is not a signal service. It never will be. It never has been. You, as an independent thinker, take full accountability of all of your own risk. Okay? This is not financial advice. I am not providing signals to anybody. I'm here to document my own journey. Okay? Let's make sure that's very clear. I take full accountability of all of my own losses and all of my own wins. I take full accountability of all of my own trading business, as so should you. Okay? So I need to make sure I get that disclaimer done so that everybody understands what we're doing here. I'm not the best, right? So to even try to copy trade me doesn't make sense. I have a 50% win rate. I was very happy with my outcome in 2024 and 2025, but I'm not some multi-millionaire, 8-figure trader that, has been doing this for 25 years. I'm learning. I'm a student of the market, and I'm trying to gain experience too. If you want to work with me, that's great. I think being around other like-minded professionals is very valuable. Getting to share these experiences with people, getting to see other people's experiences so I can learn from them is very eye-opening, right? This is a very individualized business, right? You don't see anybody else here, looking over my shoulder, making sure that I'm doing the right thing. That's why having a community is so valuable, okay? Getting to share your experiences with other people gives you so many more perspectives than you would get if you were doing this on your own, okay? So I love working with the community. Getting to go over these questions and information on such a repetitive basis is a very good learning opportunity. So please do keep showing up. Please do keep asking questions. Please bring information to the community. That way, everybody in the community could get learning experiences. I just want to make sure that we're all on the same page so that, throughout the year, there's no hiccups, there's no obstacles. I'm here to share my experience. I would love for everybody else to share their experience with me and the entire community. Whether that's here on the live stream or on socials, right? Get your socials going. No matter who you are, start documenting. Start providing information. Start providing value. Okay? I started this Twitter 2 years ago. I believe it was 2 years ago. Where do I check the date on that? Doesn't it usually say? Oh, I guess I'm blind this morning. It's right in front of me. So little more than that. What is that? 4 years ago, not 2 years ago. And we're already at 27K. That is simply from documenting every single day. Plain and simple. There's not much to it other than consistency, right? Being able to get up and do what you're supposed to do every single day, no matter how you feel, results in this, right? And so I'm specifically saying this to everybody else because I highly suggest you do this too, okay? We've spoke about multiple sources of income for quite some time. If you're in my community, you'd know exactly what I'm talking about. The doors that this has opened is astronomical, right? You can see the partnership here with My Funded Futures. You can see the overlay on the stream with the other partners. That's because of this. That's because of the consistency. Okay, so when thinking about multiple sources of income, you can see how this could create a source of income simply by being consistent in your approach, being consistent in your documentation, and in your work. You should be doing that too. Okay? Providing values for other. It's going to go a long way. There's really no reason why you shouldn't, other than the fact that you're holding yourself back. Okay, so let's keep working. Let's keep learning. Let's help others out along the way. And let's continue to be students of the market, trying to gain as much conviction every chance we get. All right, so just going to give a moment to allow people to join the live stream, and then we'll get into some of the information. Let's make sure we're prepared for today, right? Make sure you got your steps in. Make sure you've gotten some fresh air. Make sure you've gotten your coffee. We need to be ready for the open, okay? Mentally, physically, the whole nine, okay? Practice how you play. Seriously. If you're not taking full accountability in all of the steps to this process, your executions are going to lack. All right? So let's get some steps in, get the blood flowing, get some fresh air, get some coffee in, make sure your energy levels are where they need to be risking in this market. Let's make sure we're ready for today. All right, let's see who else has joined. How are you doing, Ash? I am doing well. Thanks for asking. I greatly appreciate the kind comments. I'm ready for today. I have not gotten to taking any risk this week. I had the bias wrong on Monday and Tuesday. Luckily, with the bias being wrong, my entry function didn't show up. So this is a great note. Maybe we should go over this real quick. And for anybody that's in my Discord, please do fact check me in terms of whether I traded yesterday or not. Let's go over this real quick because this is some pretty important information in my opinion. I was bullish yesterday. So I was heading into New York Open looking for longs. Here's New York Open. All right, here's New York Open. I couldn't have been more wrong. Like, at New York Open, this thing, right, it started here and just dumped consistently throughout the entire morning, right? I literally couldn't be any more wrong. Well, guess what? Being wrong is not the issue here. You either make money or you lose money. That's the only thing that matters. And guess what? I did not lose any money yesterday, even though I was wrong, because I was capable of identifying the fact that, one, my entry function didn't appear. Two, I couldn't find SMT, right? So both of those things are telling me it's not okay to risk. If you're following your process and your process tells you that you need those things to happen to get into a trade and they don't happen, then there should be no trade taken, right? So I don't care that I was wrong yesterday. Who cares that the bias was wrong, especially when you didn't lose any money? Let me just dive into that a little bit deeper, okay? So anybody that has been working with me over the past couple of years would know that this is the entry function that I look for to get into a trade, right? Get rid of this arrow. This is the entry function I look for to get into a trade. Right? A swing low, a swing high, a new low, then a new high. Right? I look for the breaker that has an FEG aligned with it. Well, let's go through that. Right? So even with being bullish yesterday, take a look at this chart. And tell me if you can ever find a breaker plus a fair value gap. Right, so let's walk through this at New York Open. Here's the first candle of New York Open. And let's take a look. Okay, we immediately dump. Right at New York Open, we immediately dump. Okay, we have a chance to create a breaker here because we have some swing points, right? Swing low, swing high, new low. Let's see if they ever create the breaker. Nope, they go lower. Okay, no breaker, no trade. All right, let's keep watching though. Let's keep watching. Okay, they go lower again. Now we have another chance at creating a breaker. Well, guess what? We just keep going lower. Okay, no breaker, no trade. Let's keep looking though, right? Normally I look until about 11 o'clock. Up until 11 o'clock. At that point, I'm done with trading. We have another chance at creating a breaker here though, so let's see, right? This could be a bullish breaker if we displace through it. Well, price decides to go lower again. Okay, well, if we keep analyzing, we can still keep looking to see if we get a breaker, right? This would be the next breaker right here. Well, guess what? Price does not go through it, and we go lower again, right? So this is the key point here in understanding whether there's a trade or not, right? So I don't care that the bias was wrong because there was never a breaker that formed, right? Every time we try to create a breaker, we end up going lower again. That's the point that I'm getting at here, is that the justifications to your actions tell you how or why you do things. If you follow that process, then you have a determined checklist for engagement, right? I know not to engage because my checklist has not been completed yet. Plain and simple. We didn't even look for SMT. We don't need to because there has never been an entry function shown on the screen. You see what I'm saying here? It's not a matter of being wrong. It's a matter of falling in love with your process and allowing the result to be a byproduct. Right? So let's just also hop over here to ES, right? Because maybe you're sitting there saying, okay, nothing's showing up on NQ. Let's take a look at ES. Maybe let's try to find something over there. Same exact thing here. It's the same story, just on a different chart. Right? Here's New York Open. Here's New York Open. So this would be the first chance at creating a breaker. That never happens. We go lower. We go lower. We cannot create the first breaker. So then here comes the second breaker, right? Maybe we get a breaker out of this one. Oh, we go lower again. Okay, well, maybe this can be the breaker then. We go lower again. All right, maybe this one will be the breaker. We never even retest that. Okay, maybe this one will be the breaker. All right, just maybe. Nope. All right, one more time, just so everybody gets the point here. Maybe we get a breaker or not. All right, we just go lower again. All right, so I wanted to make sure we got a quick review of this because this is very important in understanding. Fall in love with the process, allow the results to be a byproduct. I couldn't care less that I got the bias wrong yesterday because there was no risk taken. There was no risk taken because I could not find SMT or my entry function. That's the entire point that I'm trying to get at here. It's not a matter of being right or wrong. It's a matter of making money or losing money. If you can follow your process, that's what shows you what is and is not a trade. So when you're wrong, but you follow your process, and because you followed your process, there was no risk taken, that's a W in my opinion. I don't care about being wrong because I followed my process. And since I followed my process, I didn't lose any money. Okay? So you don't have to trade every single day. You got to find a way to understand what is a trade and what isn't a trade. What matters is becoming good at executing, being a good operator, understanding how or why you take a trade. so that you can clearly see what is a trade and what is not a trade. Because sometimes you will be wrong and you'll still make money. Sometimes you will be wrong and you won't make or lose any money, right? The outcome will change every single time. You could be right and make money. You could be right and lose money. You could be right and not make or lose money. Every single scenario has a different outcome because there's a random distribution to probabilities. It's not a matter of being right or wrong. It's a matter of following your process. All right, so far we haven't gotten a trade on the week. I just wanted to go over yesterday's price action to show you, it's just not a matter of being right or wrong. It's a matter of making money or losing money. Sorry for the little rant there. How did that even start? Oh, you asked me how I was doing today. Well, let's get back to that. My day is going very well. Thank you for asking. I hope your day is going well. I'm definitely ready to get to work today. I'm ready to finish out the week. I hope your day is going well. Spartan, good morning. Summer Z, good morning. How are we doing on this fine Wednesday? It's going very well. I'm ready to get to work. I'm ready to see what New York Open has for us. How's your day going so far? Good morning, Ash. Rocky Mountain Trader, very nice to see you. Thanks for joining. Am I trading today? I'm going to be looking at New York Open. That you'll be able to see it right here on the live stream. Nothing bullish for sure. Yeah, I mean, they just dumped all morning yesterday morning. Quite the move, to be honest. Trying to force your bias on the market is what kills traders. That was perfectly said. Thanks for sharing, Rocky Mountain Trader. If you're going to force yourself upon this market, the market doesn't care about you. The market doesn't care about how you feel or what you think. If you force yourself upon the market, I personally have seen that be the reason why people blow up. Forcing your opinion upon the market, right? Like, I would have blown up yesterday if I tried longing, right? Like, look at this dump. Look at this dump. It just dumped all day long. All day long. So if I tried longing during that, I probably would have gotten ran over like 20 different times. So that's why we don't force ourselves upon the market. Hey, good morning, Cave Trader. Good morning, Tris. Good morning, HMH. How are you doing today? Dell, good morning. Legacy, good morning. Parmeet Trading, good morning. Caffey, good morning. Angelo, good morning. Hope everybody's day is going well. Hope everybody's week is going well. And let's see where you guys are at for the week. Throw a 1 in chat if you're green on the week. Throw a 2 in chat if you're red on the week. And throw a 3 in chat if you've yet to trade this week. Let's see. Oh, wow. A handful of ones. Let's go. All right, couple 2s rolling in now. Wow. All right. Handful of 1s. Love to see that. Very good job, everyone. Love to see that. Well, hear me clearly. It doesn't matter where you're at on the week, whether you're green or red. Focus on the present, okay? Do not let your prior experiences deter your risk management today. Do not let the future worry you. You need to focus on being present. You need to focus on giving every single opportunity your all. Focus on the present. Put all of your attention, put all of your accountability into today. One day at a time, we'll continue to keep taking steps forward. Focus on the present. Don't worry about the past. Don't worry about the future. Right now is what matters. Give today your all. Okay? It doesn't matter where you were yesterday. Wipe the slate clean and focus up. Get ready for today. Ash, I have a question. What do you consider a strong and a weak displacement for the unicorn model? Because sometimes I have all the criteria met, but the displacement isn't that great. Very good question. Let's go over it. Very, very good question. Let's go over it. Gonna look for some examples here so that we can talk about it. All right. Instead of scrolling through this, I'm going to draw it out myself then. Instead of wasting time, let's take a look. All right. First things first. I'm thinking about a bullish position, right? So for a bullish position, I would want a bullish breaker, right? So that's the first thing. I want to see very clearly defined swing points, right? A swing low, a swing high, a new low, then a new high. Once we create this new high, that's when the breaker is confirmed. We need to displace through the breaker for it to be a confirmed breaker. Okay? So now in terms of displacement, I'm looking at the presence of an FEG and candle closures. Let's go through one of those at a time. So if we're trying to create our breaker and the candle closes here, right? The candle closes here and leaves a big wick, right? So I'll draw this out myself. Right? So imagine this is the candle that goes through the bullish breaker. All right, this would be the bullish breaker. And this is the candle we get. We get a candle that has a huge seller's wick on top, and it fails to close above the breaker. This is weak and lethargic. Okay? I don't care if this candle still has an FEG, right? If we still create an FEG that aligns with the breaker block, that's fine, but why didn't we close above the breaker? Why didn't we close up here? It's because it's less decisive. Okay, so that's the first thing is candle closures, right? So instead of this, I would rather see this. Right, this is a very decisive candle. It goes through the breaker. It has no problem closing above the breaker, and I do not see a seller's wick. Right, this looks very decisive right here. So this one is good. This one is bad. Okay? That's the first thing. Candle closure past the breaker. How capable is the candle closing past the breaker? If we close very nicely past the breaker, there's no seller's wick, I'm happy with that. That looks like it has displaced through the breaker. Okay? That's the first thing. Second thing, the FVG. Let's do that as well. Okay, let's imagine. Here's the breaker. Okay? Let's imagine. Oh, we could have just created a candle with this too. Oh well. Let's imagine we get the displacement through the breaker with one nice solid candle, and it leaves an FVG. This is exactly what I would want to see, right? If there is no FVG aligned with the breaker, then it looks weak and lethargic. So that's the first thing. I need the presence of an FVG. If there is no presence of an FVG, then it looks weak and lethargic. That's the first thing about FVGs. Second thing, let's imagine this candle, let's imagine we have multiple candles now, right? So let's imagine this. Ready? All right, ready? Let's imagine this candle creates an FVG. Let's also imagine this candle creates an FVG. Now I like this even more than the first example because there's two FVGs that are present, right? This could act as the first line of defense for providing support. This could act as the second defense as support. So multiple FVGs looks even better. Additionally, if they leave this FVG open and they never retest it, now we're talking about a breakaway gap. That looks like the most amount of momentum. Okay, so the key differences here in which I'm trying to answer your question is candle closures. It needs to decisively close past the breaker. FVGs. If there is no FVG, there is no displacement. If there is an FVG, I would like to see it left open because that looks like there's more momentum than if we filled the FVGs. All right, so what determines that for me is the candle closures and the presence of the FVGs. Very good question. Very, very good question. Give me 2 seconds. I have somebody contacting me. I need to respond very quickly. Alrighty. Hopping back over to chat. Sorry for the confusion. All right. Got to the question about displacement. Yes, we did work on the mic issue. Hopefully you haven't heard any drops yet. Let me know how it sounds, Summersy. We did fix the gate threshold. We did fix the suppression, and there was one other thing. So we did, we did some work inside of OBS and got that fixed. Hopefully it sounds better now. Good morning, Ferna. Hope your day is going well. Karen Deep, what's up? Hope your day is going well. UM Trades, how are you doing today? Kenneth, good morning. Damien, good morning. Am I trading today? Yes, I will be looking at the market. Thanks for the stream. Yeah, we will be going live throughout all of 2026. As I mentioned earlier today, I do have to travel this week. So on Friday, I will not be going live. I'm going to Florida to make some content, some podcasts and some other stuff. Not really going to dive into that, but this Friday I will not be going live. My normal schedule is Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. If that ever changes, I will let you know, just like I did now about Friday. But we will be going live all year long. What about if the displacement doesn't create an FEG? Then I do not want to use it. If there is no FEG, then I do not want to use it. Can you go over time frames you drop down to for the breaker candles? Okay, so the daily I use for a bias. The hourly or the 15-minute I use for higher time frame key levels with SMT. The 5-minute or the 1-minute is where I look for entry functions. So right here, these are the time frames. Do you consider 5 in the breaker? Maybe I don't understand the question. What is 5? Do you consider 5 in the breaker? Mike is perfect. Let's go. We finally fixed it. Let's go. Good morning, sir. Hey, good morning, Umar. Hope your day is going well. Sir, I might have missed it somehow, but how do you get your 10K steps daily? Do you use a treadmill, home, gym, or walk outside in nature? I walk near the beach and only get around 6K steps. It depends on the weather. If it's nasty out, I'll go to the gym. Other than that, I like to be outside as much as I can. So it usually takes me about an hour and a half to 2 hours of walking to get the 10K steps. But that is something that I will be doing every single day this year. I have, here, let's hop over here. I quite literally am documenting it every single day. I told everybody on Twitter that if I do not post one of these on any single day, you can tell me to run a giveaway for prop accounts. So if I ever miss that, you can hold me accountable for running a prop giveaway. Now, it's very unlikely that I'll miss it. So I don't, as you can see, every single day I'll be posting it. I plan on hitting it every single day. So do please hold me accountable, but I'm here to tell you I don't plan on ever missing it. And on top of that, even though I haven't missed it, I have still ran 5 different prop giveaways this year already. So I'm still going to run prop giveaways either way, but I did want to make a little fun out of it. I highly suggest everybody else joins me on that journey. Family is the number 1 priority. Health is the second priority. You got to keep your health. Health is the real wealth. Okay, so join me on the journey. Get 10K steps in every single day. What's in motion stays in motion. So let's stay healthy. A healthy gut is a healthy mind. Your gut is directly linked to your mind. So the healthier you are, the better you're probably going to operate here on this chart. So whether it's outside, inside, on the treadmill, I'm getting it done. Doesn't matter where it is. I'll make sure I get my 10K steps in. Much love from Morocco. Wow. What's up, Nameless? How are you doing today? Never been to Morocco before. That sounds awesome. Do you consider inversions in the breaker? No, I use normal FEGs. Hi, Ash. I subbed to the channel, but I can't access the live. We're live right now. So if you can see and hear me, we are currently live. We are currently live streaming. So if you can see me now, then we are live. Maybe you need to press the live button. So if you're on YouTube and you know where the volume button is right there. So it says on the bottom left of my screen, it should literally be right below my picture. Right below my picture is the pause button, the audio button for the volume, and then there's a little button that says live. Click that live button and make sure the little red dot is red. If that red dot is red, then you're on the live version of the live stream. Good morning, Ash. Hey, Pro Trader. How's your day going? Good morning. Hi, Ash. Newbie to the channel, learning slowly but surely. Yeah, listen, it doesn't matter where you are in this trading journey. Please ask questions. It doesn't matter if it's beginner, intermediate, advanced. We're here to work on this business. So if you have any questions, any information, let's go over it. Please do feel free to ask any questions. I'll gladly help with anything that I have the information for. If it's a question I can't answer, I'm going to defer to somebody else. So I can help as much as I can. If it's information I don't have, I'll point to somebody else that can help. Good morning, Ash. Hey, son of Wall Street. How are you doing today? Good morning. Odds are Ash learns to play the piano before he misses posting his 10K steps. That's correct. See, Rocky Mountain Trader knows. He knows. How to read session volume profile. So this is that example that I just mentioned. I don't use session profile. As you can see, what I have here on my chart is what I use. So volume is not something I specifically work with. That's one of those moments in time where I have to say, I have to defer to somebody else that uses session volume profile. I don't use it, so I can't answer that one. I'm not going to provide some kind of low quality response. I'm going to have to defer to somebody else for that one. Good morning from Toronto. Good morning, Bench Trader. Hope your day's going well. It must be freezing by you, huh? Toronto? It's probably really cold up there. Love from Pakistan. Hey, what's up, Hassan? I hope your day is going well. Good morning, Ash. Good morning, Shakni. On what time frames do you look for SMT? I like to look for SMT on the daily, the hourly, or the 15-minute. I want to be using higher time frame information. Higher time frame information holds more influence than lower time frame information. Hey, Ash, do you take any supplements? No, I do not. I drink water. I eat vegetables. I get my proteins in. I'm not the type of individual to be using any kind of supplement. I'm very natural. I don't need to do that. No. What's your daily bias? We're going to go over that any minute. I was going through all the questions and answers in chat before getting to today's game plan. So just going to finish the questions, finish the answers, but don't worry, we will make sure to make a game plan for New York Open. We will be prepared for New York Open. We have some time before that, so that's why I'm going through questions and answers first. Same thing for what is your bias for today. I will be going over a bias very shortly. I'm just going back and forth with the community first because we have time. Ash, why didn't you switch bias yesterday? Because I create a game plan before the market opens, then I execute that game plan, right? So I'm not the type of individual that changes their bias within one session. I would rather know if I'm right or wrong. Additionally, I would rather know why I was right or wrong. If I'm just flipping my bias every time price moves, it seems like I'm being influenced by price fluctuations. So I'm not the type of individual that changes their bias every, price fluctuation. Good day from Bulgaria. Hey, what's up? 3 years already on the charts. All ICT videos has been watched, and I still lost in the charts. Yeah, this is a common issue for a lot of people. In my opinion, it's probably due to some information overload. If you're watching all of his videos, it'll be an endless journey of new information. He comes up with new terminologies every single week, every single year. There's some kind of new holy grail every single month. You're going to be chasing that holy grail type of experience. You're going to think that there's more information that you need to know. And in my opinion, less is more. Quality over quantity. Let me give you an example. If you have a checklist of 20 different things that you need to check off before taking a trade, there's a very low probability that you'll ever take a trade, because there's a very low probability that all 20 things are going to be checked off within one day or one session. Instead, compare that to having a checklist of 1 or 2 things, right? Just get really good at 1 or 2 things. There's a much higher likelihood of that checklist of 2 things being completed. Therefore, you understand what the trade is. Therefore, you understand you can take the trade, compared to a checklist of 20 different things. Okay, so the other conversation that I have to say about this is there's no ill will. He's done a great thing for the community. He's provided a lot of information, but that's not for everybody, right? If you're an individual that falls into information overload, then you need to step away from that. Because I'm telling you here, I'm on social media as well. I understand what's going on here. He needs to make content, right, to get ad revenue. He needs to make content for any kind of partnership. That's his income, right? So he's going to always make something new. And in terms of marketing, when you market something, you get more eyes on it if it's the holy grail or the best or the newest, right? Those are just normal marketing tactics, right? So don't fall into the social media stuff. If you're just going to keep watching, there's always going to be a new video. So you'll never find the end of that road, because there's always going to be a new video. There's always going to be new information, which is holding you back from what you need to be doing, which is clicking the button and collecting your own data. So take it for what it is. I've watched his content too. Don't get me wrong. I have watched his content, but I stopped watching his content a long time ago because of these reasons. Your focus needs to be on clicking the buttons, collecting your own data. You're unique to your own experience. Okay, so that's why you need to press the buttons. You need to collect your own data. I lost my spot in chat. Give me 2 seconds. Does price consolidate after long range days like yesterday? That is something that I look at. So whether we're talking about yesterday or the prior session or the prior hour, just in general, the different phases of price delivery are something that I consider. So after a large expansion, whether you're talking about the last hour or the last day or the last session, after a large expansion, I look for consolidation or retracement. So just think about the different phases of price delivery, right? there's a lower probability that you're going to go from expansion to expansion, right? Normally, after expansion, you see some form of consolidation or retracement, right? So so here's the proof of that statement. Here is your expansion, right? Yesterday, we expanded lower. Right after that expansion, we retraced. So a small portion of that move, we retraced, and then we consolidated. Right? So notice how we did not go from expansion to expansion. Right? Here's another example. Ready? Expansion. What did we do right after expansion? We consolidated. Okay? It's a low likelihood that you're going to go from expansion to expansion. So think about the different phases of price delivery when you're dealing with these things, right? If you didn't catch this expansion lower, you got to be thinking there's going to be some form of retracement or consolidation thereafter. Very good question. Yes, you can use the model in Asia session. You can use the model in London session. You can use the model in New York session. You can use the model in New York PM session. Doesn't matter which session you use it in. The model remains the same. I close my trades early in a fear of a loss, and I can't seem to get over it. What should I do? Go lower size. Right? You must be at too large of a size to hold that position. Right? Seeing the P&L fluctuate up and down must be inducing some kind of emotion that is causing you to click a button. The way to get rid of that emotion, that fear, is one, go to lower sizes so that dollar amount doesn't bother you. Two, gain more conviction. The more times you press this button, the more confidence you're going to have. I don't care if you're in your first week, your first month, your first year, your first decade. More experience will provide more conviction. So keep clicking the button. When you gain enough conviction that you understand you need to hold the position instead of allowing your fear to change that, that's when you're going to get past that fear with having more conviction. Last option. Change your P&L from a dollar amount to a percentage, right? Instead of watching a dollar amount fluctuate, change it to a percentage. Maybe seeing a percentage will help your mental better. Those are three different options for that. Very good question. Very good question. He is a very good trader, but don't get lost in all the noise. Perfect. That is a perfect way to say that. That is a great summary of that conversation. I 100% agree with that. How to overcome ego, being right after learning ICT concepts. Well, how to overcome ego... If your results don't prove your abilities, what ego is there to have there? You know what I mean? Like, if you're not receiving payouts, what ego are you talking about? Right? An ego is like a confidence thing, right? You think you know everything. You think you're capable of everything. Well, does your results say that? Or are we just internally having an ego? Right? You should be objective to your results. If your results show that you're not profitable, what ego is there to have? The proof is in your data. The proof is in your work. If you can't prove it yourself, there's no ego to have. Good morning, everyone. Hey, what's up, Tyree? Hope your day is going well. Hope your week is going well. Heads up, Friday's NFP release has been removed from Forex Factory due to the government shutdown, but it should be added back since the bill to fund it was signed. thank you for the update. Let's hop over there. Let's take a quick look at that. Let's take a quick look at that. So unemployment claim still says tentative. So we'll keep an eye on that. They did remove Tuesday's red folder. Originally, there was a red folder here that they removed. We'll see if they remove unemployment claims. This says tentative. You can see here what Tyree's talking about for NFP, right? NFP is not listed on Friday at the current moment. So thank you for bringing that up, Tyree. I greatly appreciate it. Hope your week is going well. Changing it to a percentage is a good idea. Yeah. Listen, if the dollar amount fluctuating, if that's causing some kind of emotion, just change it to ticks. Change it to a percentage. You can change it from a dollar amount to either ticks or a percentage. Maybe that'll help your emotions. Can you enter if the setup forms before the kill zone? You can do whatever you want to do. Whether that's a good idea or not changes, right? So set some rules for yourself and adhere to them. Okay? What matters is that you have a process that you're following. Okay, so create your system, create your game plan, and then adhere to that. Right? And then allow the results to speak for themselves. For example, if you've created a game plan that allows you to execute before New York Open, right? But that game plan has very bad results. Well, you can see it there in your data that maybe you should stop executing before New York Open. What matters is that you've collected the data to prove yourself. Because on the other hand is, if you've set a game plan that allows you to execute before New York Open and you're really profitable with it, continue to keep doing that and don't let anybody tell you otherwise. The only thing that matters is you either make money or you lose money. If you're currently making money, do not let anybody tell you that you're doing something wrong. You either make money or you lose money. If you know how to make money, keep making money. Prove it to yourself within your own data. Go collect enough data, right? You should have at least a year's or 2 years worth of data showing your abilities. If your abilities prove that you can take payouts, you can extract money from this market, and you are net profitable, don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Focus on your process. I have found it helpful to gray out my P&L instead of green or red. Very good comment. And that is exactly what I'm talking about. Figure out the things that, make you feel some sort of way and then change it to better your abilities. If graying out your P&L is going to help you focus on executing instead of having feelings or emotions, do that. Very good job. Very good job. Ash, can you please check Euro? I'm confused with the bias. All right, let's start to go through some biases. I just wanted to take some time with the community to go through some questions and answers. But now that we're about 25 minutes out from New York Open, let's start to create a game plan. Let's get prepared for the Open. Before we do me a favor, like the video. Okay, what do we got? Nearly 200 people in here, but we only got 37 likes. Let's get the likes to 100. Sub to the channel because we're going to continue to keep going live. Turn the notifications on so you can know when I'm going live. And let's hop into some biases. Let's start to create a game plan. Let's get prepared for New York Open. Let's take a look. We'll go through all of our assets. Please have some patience with me. I will need to update my Discords as well, so I'm going to need to take some screenshots as well. Okay, so here's Euro. This is what I'm looking at on Euro. whether we get rejected from this FEG here, right? So we have two different FEGs on the daily chart. You have a bearish FEG here. You have a bearish FEG here. I'm looking at both of these areas as an area of resistance for continued lower prices. Okay? All that I do to create a bias is I get on the daily chart, I look at swing highs, swing lows, and FEGs. Well, I guess you guys are getting my information. Why does that have to pop up? Like, what is the time limit? Why? That's the second time that that's happened to me now. Does anybody know the time limit for these sign-ins? Because just keep leaking my info. Like, that's just not cool, man. What is the time limit for those? That is just annoying. Like, come on. Come on. All right. Jeez. Back to the conversation. Sorry. I don't know how that happens. Like, that's just so lame. On the daily chart, I'm looking at swing highs, swing lows, and FEGs. I'm looking at the most recent information. Okay, so notice how this bearish FEG was created once this candle closed, right? So this bearish FEG here is more recent than this bullish FEG over here, just in terms of time, right? The date. The date of this FEG was confirmed on Monday, the 26th of January. The date of this FEG was confirmed on Tuesday, the 3rd of February. Clearly, this is more recent than this bullish one over here. I used the most recent information on the daily chart, looking at swing highs, swing lows, and FEGs. When price is currently above a swing high or inside of a bearish FEG, that gives me a bearish bias. When price is below a swing low or inside of a bullish FEG, that gives me a bullish bias. When price is at these locations, I look at the type of candle formation that's occurring, right? Are we getting rejected by resistance? Are we getting supported by support, right? Right now, it looks like price has just got rejected by the bearish FEG, right? So bearish FEG plus a bearish rejection equals bearish bias. That's how I create a bias. And this is what I'm moving forward with for today on Euro. So please give me a second. Let me get a screenshot of this so I can update my Discords. Give me 2 seconds here. All right, let me get that over here. Excuse me. Let's see, today's the 4th. Bias, daily chart. Bias remains bearish. IRL to ERL, right? I'm looking for a move from the bearish FEG lower to the swing low. Let me remind people that I'm live. YouTube. Let's get that over there as well. Okay. All right, Euro, internal to external. Whether you want to look at this bearish FEG or this bearish FEG. I'm looking for a move lower on Euro. And so the dollar should be opposite of that, right? The dollar should be moving higher when Euro is moving lower, okay? So that's why I need to move the analysis from here, right? I was looking at a bearish FEG, but I need to look at the most recent information, right? As I just stated, the most recent information, there's a bullish FEG here. There's a bullish FEG here, right? If we get supported by this bullish FEG, then we might be able to fill the rest of this bearish FEG. So I'll be changing my dollar bias to bullish, looking for this right here. All right, so looking to see if the bullish FEG could provide support on the dollar. We'll see if we can get higher prices on the dollar this morning. So you got a screenshot of this. Let's get this over to the Discord. Did anybody find out the time frame for that login information? Please let me know on that. Like how much time I'm allowed to have inside my account before it signs me out. Because that continues to keep happening. Okay. The dollar. Updating that in Discord. Okay, the dollar and euro has been completed. Oil. Yesterday, we were looking at higher prices simply because price was getting supported by a bullish FEG. My bias is going to remain bullish, thinking that they need to fill this new week opening gap. Right, so it's hard to see it here because of this wick. Let me just go down to a lower time frame so you can see it. And you can see it here now. Here's that new week opening gap that I'm referring to. Okay, so the closing price of Friday, the opening price of Sunday, that's what the new week opening gap is, right here. Closing price of Friday, opening price of Sunday. That's what the new week opening gap is. Ever since it was created, they never filled it. Okay, so that's why we're looking at that. Other than the fact that price was getting supported by the FEG. Notice these wicks. Notice where this candle closed. Notice where this one opened. It looked like it was getting supported by the bullish FEG. So I will be looking for higher prices on oil. Let's get a screenshot of that in the chat. Okay, oil's in there now. All right. Bearish euro. Bullish dollar. Bullish oil. ESNQ. ESNQ. All right. Now, yesterday I was bullish. The reason why I was bullish is because we swept a swing low. After sweeping that swing low, okay, so this is what yesterday looked like before we got yesterday's daily candle. Yesterday I was bullish because of this reason. We swept a swing low here, right? Beautiful buyer's wick. We got bought back up inside the range, closed inside the range. So I was looking for a move to the swing high. That did not happen. Okay, so earlier in the live stream, we went over the reasons why I was wrong yesterday. So if you want to watch that, go to the beginning of the live stream. But understanding that the bias was wrong, now it looks like we're reaching lower for the equal lows, right? It looks like we swept out previous day high. After sweeping out previous day high, we started reaching for previous day low. And at this moment in time, it looks like we need a little more continuation to those equal lows here. Okay, so additionally, we have been dealing with this new week opening gap for way too long. This has clearly been an important location for price because the first time that we dealt with this area, we got a beautiful move from it. But now we're right back to it, and it's no longer showing any form of support. So, I will be looking for previous day low as the target at New York Open with the equal lows from Monday. And we have a third low to target here of Wednesday the 21st. Okay? The thing that's showing me that is, one, price's inability to make this move here. Right? So I was bullish because we swept the swing low. After sweeping the swing low, we had a beautiful reversal candle. And we failed to reverse from that location. So price's inability to continue to the target showing me some weakness here. Additionally, if we were to review the most recent information, as I had stated earlier, you have either that swing low that I just pointed to or this inversion here. Right? We failed to get supported here. We closed below it. After closing below it, it then acted as resistance. This right here. After it acting as resistance, now it looks like it's trying to target the lows. So this is what it looks like. It looks like we need to take out these equal lows here. So I'll be targeting this at New York Open. Additionally, with a bullish dollar, ESNQ should be moving opposite of the dollar. So if the dollar does go higher this morning, it'll give ESNQ an easier chance at going lower. So let me take a screenshot of this. Let me get this over to chat. Okay. All right, looking to target the equal lows. Okay. And ES should be the same, right? ES is correlated to NQ. ES and NQ should be moving the same at the same time, which, look at this divergence here. Look at the percentage change. Look at the percentage change between ES and NQ. Maybe there's some kind of divergence happening there just by analyzing the percentage change. We'll see what happens. But I do have to say the same thing about ES, right? It failed to get support by the bullish FEG, just like it failed to make this move from the swing low. I thought we were going to go make a new all-time high yesterday. So let's see if we get this move to the equal lows here. Let me get this screenshot over to the Discord. All right. Now that we have gone through our biases, now we have a game plan set for New York Open. Are you going to take a look at gold? Yeah, I could hop over to gold real quick. So, gold and silver. There was one thing that I was specifically stating. So, the last time I spoke about gold, the last thing I left off on gold was this. All right, just go back and check the prior live streams. We were up here. We were somewhere up here. We were around this point in time in which I said we needed to give the bulls a break. We needed to give them a halftime. We needed to let them take a water break, take a breather. But then after taking the breather, take a look to see if we can catch any continuation. Right? So it does make sense that we got the pullback. And after we got the pullback, we got supported by a bullish FEG. And now you're seeing some retracement. Right? So this is that example of the conversation we were having earlier. The conversation was, after expansion, what are we to expect? A retracement or consolidation. So this expansion here, we had expansion from the new all-time highs, much lower. We had a very large expansion lower. Now we're getting supported by a key level, and we're seeing some retracement of that move. Okay? So very good job by gold getting bought back up. The thing that I would keep my eyes on is the bearish FEG. This is the thing that would give me my next move, my next set of information. Right? Very simply put. If price invalidates the bearish FEG by going above it, I would then look to see if that area can then be turned into support for higher prices. So that is the question that I'm asking myself on gold. What happens at this bearish FEG? What type of price reaction occurs here? Does today's daily candle form like this, right? A huge upside down candle that has a seller's wick. This looks like a rejection. Or do we get a huge bullish engulfing candle that has a little mouth on it? I don't know how that happened, but I guess that... I don't know why this is so random, but I don't know why this made me think of it. Has anybody been to London? Or the UK, maybe I should say the UK. What is it called? Hold on, now I gotta look it up because I just recently went there. And this, I don't know why this made me think of it, but now I'm thinking about it. What is it called? What is it called? Who in chat knows what the rock formation in the UK is called? There's like this random... Let me see. Give me a second. I don't know why this made me think of that. Stonehenge. Stonehenge. Oh, you guys beat me to it. Stonehenge. I don't know why. I don't know. Maybe too much coffee or something. But this just made me think of Stonehenge. This little drawing right here. That was a pretty cool experience. I did get to go to Stonehenge a couple months ago. We also did a trader meetup in London, which was awesome. But for some reason, this looks like those large stones that are standing in the middle of nowhere. So, I don't know who put those there, but if you guys know who put those there, let me know, because I found that astonishing. How does that large of rocks get put there? And specifically, how do the rocks lay on top of each other? Because they have like these large rocks like this, but then there's also a rock that goes sideways like on top of them. Makes no sense because those rocks got to be millions of pounds. Like they're massive. All right. Sorry, I don't know where that came from. This is what I'm looking at for gold. All I want to know is what type of price reaction occurs here. What type of price reaction occurs here? Do we get a Stonehenge? Do we get a Stonehenge? Or do we get rejected from the bearish FEG? That is the information that I'm looking for on gold to understand whether the bulls are going to continue or if it's over for the bulls. I will be waiting for the daily candle closure to understand that. Do we get rejected by the bearish FEG? Yes or no? That is the question I need to know to understand whether resistance is getting broken, right? This is supposed to be resistance. It's a bearish FEG. Resistance being broken would look like this. We go above it, then we retest it to see if it can be turned into support for bullish continuation. Resistance being broken, turned into support for continuation. Or do we get rejected from it? The type of candle creation is going to tell me that. So this is what I need to know right now. What happens at this bearish FEG on gold? All right, so we got another 5 minutes here before New York Open. If you have any questions or information, feel free to throw it in chat. But we're getting prepared for New York Open here. We just covered all the assets that we watch. Now that New York Open is coming up, we'll look to see if we can find any positions. I'll be watching NQ and ES because those are the assets that I trade. Once again, that also refers back to that comment of less is more, quality over quantity. I don't watch 20 different assets. I don't need to watch 20 different assets. I want to get good at one or two things, ES and NQ. Okay, so I don't want to fall into the information overload. I'll watch ES and NQ. We'll see if we get anything here in ES and NQ. Let's see what we get here today, chat. I would also love to hear what you guys are looking for today. So, talking about ES and NQ. Throw a 1 in chat if you're bullish. Throw a 2 in chat if you're bearish. Let's see what you guys are looking for today on ES and NQ. 1 in chat for bullish, 2 in chat for bearish. What are you all looking for today? Oh, bunch of bears. I'm currently logged into Trade-Of-8 right now for the individual saying, can anybody log in? I am currently in my Trade-Of-8 right here. I really appreciate the individuals that are saying there are some Trade-Of-8 issues. Anytime that we have 1, Trump speaking, 2, platform issues, or 3, some kind of news that is added to the economic calendar, do me a favor, please bring it to the community. Please let everybody else know. That is important information for our day trading, for our risk management. So I'd really appreciate it if you ever see some kind of information like that, bringing it to the community so everybody else could be aware of it too. So thank you for the individuals that did do that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Bunch of bears today, though. Bunch of bears, huh? All right. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. Bunch of bears today. Well, let's see if those bears get what they want. See if those bears get what they want. Let's see what we're about to get here today. Why would you go to the 5-minute? I have no reason for anything right now. I'm not doing anything. I'm just waiting for New York Open. Like, I didn't pick the 5-minute. All I'm doing here is just waiting for New York Open. Doesn't really matter what time frame we're on right now. Just waiting for New York Open. Hi, Ash. I remember a while ago you mentioned better success on the 5-minute. I have a better win rate on the 5-minute chart compared to the 1-minute chart. That still remains the same. All right, let's see what we get here. New York Open. Still a huge percentage change difference between ES and NQ. Who's telling the story? Who's telling the story here this morning? Did we just get rejected by the 15-minute gap? Are we heading to those equal lows on the daily? Right, 15-minute gap. Maybe a breaker with an FEG. We'll see. Maybe they just run to our target without letting us in, just like the rest. So far, New York Open this week has just been an instant run. Let's go back to this real quick. Look at this. Look at New York Open here. We immediately run lower. Look at New York Open here. We immediately run higher. New York Open has been tough this week, to say the least. Are we doing that again right now? Yeah, we are. Are they really going to go take out the target before giving us anything? Right? We were looking at the equal lows as the target for this morning. Are they just going to run there without us? Let's see. Let's see. I would definitely look at this, but if they're just going to leave without us, I'm not going to chase it. Right? So we are getting a continuation breaker here right at the open. You got a swing high, you have a swing low, you have a new high, and then a new low. So that is a breaker, and it did deliver from a 15-minute gap. Right, here's the gap right here. Right, so key level, 15-minute gap. Let's see if there was SMT there. 15-minute bearish SMT, right? ES took out the previous 15-minute candle high. NQ did not take out the previous 15-minute candle high. Do you see why NQ is acting as the weaker pair here this morning? At New York Open, there was bearish SMT on the 15-minute chart at a location of a 15-minute FEG. It did a much better job heading to the target compared to ES. Right? ES, we're not even there yet. ES is definitely acting as the stronger pair here this morning. Let's see what we get. These large ranges. Beautiful move so far. They just barely missed previous day low. Hold on. Let's leave that on there. Come on, why does that keep happening? All right. Got to get better at charting or something. No, don't know why that was so hard. Getting the rejection there for ES as well. See if ES wants to follow NQ. see what we get here. NQ just definitely the weaker pair this morning. NQ's not going to give it to me. I want NQ from here. NQ's the weaker pair, says the SMT. Waiting to see if we get that. This does look like a larger range. Let me see what this looks like. 50 points. So about 1,000, a little more than 1,000 of risk. What is that? 50 on one contract of NQ. Was that $1,080? $1,000, something like that. Logged out, and now I'm unable to log back in. So please be careful. Please be careful with Tradeovate. Looks like Tradeovate is currently having issues with logging in. Okay, there's multiple reports that are coming across on it right now. Okay, so please be careful. Please be careful. Please be careful with Tradeovate. All right, they provided no rejection from that breaker. Let's take a look at what we have here. Huge 15-minute wick there. Another potential SMT against ES. All right, take a look at this. Notice how NQ ran out all of these lows, whereas ES has not. I find it funny that Tradeovate is having issues when they're attacking Project X. It is funny how that works. That is funny how that works. So please remember this as well. We have PMI coming up here at 10 a.m. All right. So you can see why isn't it? Hold on. All right, there we go. You can see why I'm being patient. We do have the 10 a.m. news there as well. Apex website also failing. All right. All these reports are definitely making me less interested as well. It doesn't help to hear all of the issues that are currently happening. I just don't like that that's like a normal situation nowadays. It's just happening way too much. I don't know what is causing it, so I'm not sure about that. But definitely makes me less interested. What happened with Tradeovate? People are having issues with logging into Tradeovate right now. GC was a nice short. Let's see what GC did there. Nice move lower there off the open. Looking like NQ. Patience, patience, patience. We'll see what New York Open has for us. We got news coming up here in about 19 minutes. So far, we have some SMT at the lows. So take a look at the 4:30 a.m. low here. Notice how ES has not run below it. 4:30 a.m. low here. NQ has run below it. Okay, so need to be aware of the bullish SMT, but we also have bearish SMT because NQ has not ran out the previous 15-minute candle high, whereas ES has. So looks like there's SMT on both sides of the market. Let's see what the news brings. Also SMT at London highs. Let me take a look. NQ never swept out London. ES did sweep out London. In my opinion, that move, this move right here, this bearish SMT, already played out. Right, because from this bearish SMT here, we moved, what, 200 points lower? So that looks like that move already played out. Now I'm curious to know if we're dealing with bullish SMT right here. Right? So now I'm curious about this. See what we get here today, chat. What are we getting for New York Open? see what we get for today's session. Patience, patience, patience. Who's telling the story? Is ES telling the story, or is NQ telling the story? Who's telling the story today? All right, so that's also now your 15-minute opening range. Looks like they did take out the high there. So now I'm also curious if they make this right here, turn this into a breaker. See if this also becomes a breaker here. Patience, patience, patience. So they did not close below the breaker there. What a difference there in the percentage change, too. ES clearly being the stronger pair here this morning. P&L eroding day. Yeah, so far. So let's see, about 10 more minutes for the news as well. Curious to know if they're trying to make this a change in the state of delivery here on ES. Right, bullish SMT at the low. Curious to know if this is what they're creating. Just notice the patience. Notice how we're identifying information that we use to try to get on sides with the market. So ES, see if, what was that? ES did close a candle above the 15-minute opening range there. Let's see if they get rejected from it or not. All right, that's the 15-minute opening range on ES. NQ, ugly. Chopping away to start the day. Stuck inside the opening range. Happily patient so far. Happily patient. Ooh, quite the rejection there. Are they turning this into a unicorn here? Patience, patience, patience. All right, there's your breaker plus FEG. See what happens with this. Now, as I explained with the morning game plan, looking for trade of eights down. Should see. Do I even take the trade? Trade of eight giving me issues is holding me back currently. We have a bullish bias. Now we have a bullish setup. Can't log into trade of eight. So see, and that's what worries me. I'm in trade of eight right now, but if I were to take this trade here and I can't manage it because trade of eight's not working properly, that's a problem. That's a problem. That's a problem. Looks like NQ's reaching for that target now. We pointed to the equal lows there on the daily as the target. That's not the correct one. Hold on. This is the one I pointed to. ES at least has a setup here. NQ doesn't have the setup. Like, what is this consolidation here? So I understand that the SMT is on NQ and it's the weaker pair, but it doesn't have a setup for us to use. Yes, that's the comment I just made. I understand that NQ is a weaker pair, but where do you see the breaker here? Where do you see the entry function? I personally, there's nothing here. This is consolidation. This is ugly. This is chop. So I have no interest in NQ because of that. Right, like this is, I could easily understand this. This is a swing high here, a swing low here, a new high here, and then we displace through the breaker. So I can easily understand that compared to NQ. I would rather be shorting the weaker pair, yes, but I still need an entry function. Trade of 8 won't let you take the trade anyways. Ah, that's unfortunate. All right, so will the news send us lower for the 2R? Will the news send NQ to the daily target of the equal lows? That's what we're currently looking at here this morning. We had a bearish bias heading into the market. After about 15 minutes of New York Open, we were capable of analyzing a bearish breaker plus an FEG. We'll see if the news wants to send us lower to 2R. Two more minutes before the news drops here. That might be the target there on NQ. Get this over to the Discord. What is this? Why are my charts messed up now? Hold on, let me reload this. Hold on. What is this? Okay. Well, quite a lethargic move there in terms of the news, but who was ever able to capture this short position, you're now looking at plus 2R. Okay, so if you took this short position, you need to be taking profits at this point. Okay. Did anybody take this short here on ES? Did anybody take the short there on ES? If you took the short, you have to be taking your profits now. Well, looks like the bias was correct this morning. Looks like we were capable of finding a short position on ES. Tradeovate really played games with my minds there. As you saw, I did not execute the position. Right? The order template's right here. You can clearly see when buttons are pressed. Maybe too much Tradeovate talk. Okay? That clearly played a toll on my mental in terms of fear. And here we are now. Here we are now, more than 2R on the short. So, very happy that we were able to capture the bias. Very happy that we were able to be patient and identify an entry function. Unfortunate that fear stepped in. Maybe too many Tradeovate comments this morning. That will be documented. Straight fear. But do me a favor. Would love to see if anybody else captured the short this morning. So throw a 1 in chat if you were able to capture the short here that we pointed to on ES. That's your target there on NQ as well. Just a quick recap. We had a bearish bias this morning heading into New York Open. Okay. We were looking at these equal lows to be the target. We've now accomplished our first target, and we also pointed to this second low as the second target. Okay. $54 handle stop is stupidity. I think you need to just position size accordingly to take the trade. You're never going to get the same amount of points for your stop loss. The market's volatility is going to determine that. Sometimes candles are larger, but that doesn't mean that you should change your model, right? So for example, what I refer to as the model is the breaker plus FEG, and I look to enter at the beginning of the breaker with a stop at the swing high. This amount of points between the beginning of the breaker and the swing high is always going to be different, determined by the volatility in the market. If the stop loss is larger, that doesn't mean you should change your model. What that means is you should change your position size. You can still take the trade, just go to a lower position size to risk accordingly. But very good job to the individuals that did capture the short. Congratulations. If you're green now, it is now your responsibility to turn off the chart and be done for the day. Okay? It is never acceptable to hand back your hard work. This business is hard enough. Don't make it any harder on yourself. If you're green for the day, be done. Very good job to anybody that captured the short. Opening range broke to the bottom. We finally got to move lower to the target. And let's just analyze this one last time so we can get our documentation completed. So, New York open for time. Bearish bias. 15-minute swing high as key level. 15-minute SMT against NQ. 1-minute breaker block. Right, so notice how all of the confirmations to the model were there. It provided an entry and played out beautifully. So, that's why we need to document it. Daily bias, bearish. (15-minute) swing high as higher time frame key level. (15-minute) SMT with NQ. (1-minute) breaker plus FEG. Amazing job today, everyone. Amazing job. Now, who cares where they go from here, right? This is the moment in time. What? See, this is why I had so much fear this morning. What is going on with these platforms? Like, between all the trade conversations and this keeps happening to me on TradingView, what is this? Like, I have to refresh the page to get the actual information? That's just sketchy. Like, what is that? And it brought me over here to NQ when I refreshed it. What are these? What is going on? Either way, this is what I'm going to leave you all off with here. Okay. I'm going to wrap it up with this because I need to move over to the My Funded Futures live stream next. I will be live on My Funded Futures YouTube channel at 10:30 a.m. So in 20 minutes from now, do me a favor, please join me over on that live stream as well so we can finish up that conversation there. I greatly appreciate that. But the last thing that I want to leave you all off with here is your result is a byproduct of the process. Okay? For example, this is exactly what has been shown on live stream and what will be documented in all of the text locations that I document. I'm very happy that I was capable of creating the correct bias. I was very happy with the amount of patience to wait for New York Open and to wait for the information to develop. I was very happy with understanding the key level, finding the SMT. I was very happy with being able to point to the entry function, then watching the entry function play out properly. The result is I'm flat on the day, right? So understand the difference here. And I've spoke about this before. There's a difference between being an analyst and being an executioner. We were capable of creating the right analysis this morning, but the fear during operating is what held us back. All of that needs to be documented because you need to do both. You need to be an analyst and you need to be able to execute. You need to be extremely strong in your executions. You need to be able to operate without any emotions. Detach your emotions from the outcome. This also goes to show you I'm a human being too, right? This is my 7th year and I still deal with these things. So you have to understand that this is what day trading is, okay? Don't get too down on yourself. Don't be too hard on yourself if this is the result that you got today. That's what I'm trying to leave you off with. Is the result is a byproduct of the process. I'm extremely happy that I focused on the process and the process worked out this morning. That will be documented. That's the pros, right? The positives of the situation. The cons of the situation that will be documented is you need to detach your emotions from the outcome. The process was correct. The emotions weren't, right? Everything needs to be documented because both of those things play a factor in today's results. Fear, greed, impulsiveness, they will greatly change your results, as you saw here this morning. What could have been, let's see, what could have been, right? So this is what, 14 points. So what is that? $400, $1,000, somewhere around there. So 1,425, something like that, for about $2,800. Do you think I care that I missed out on $2,800? No. Be objective. Leave your emotions for your family. Leave your emotions for your health, for your day-to-day life. When it comes to business, be objective to the information. Be objective to the results, right? I'm not going to go and tilt now because I just missed a trade. That's what I'm trying to get at. If you're going to allow those emotions to induce negative habits, you'll go down that tilting train. You'll go down that rough road of impulsively acting and executing your emotions. Be objective. Okay? Every single experience is a learning experience. Always show up, working and learning. Be a student of the market for the rest of time. And be objective to that. Okay? So, thank you. I hope everybody had a phenomenal morning. Great job for all the individuals that captured the short. I love to see the process work out. We will continue to keep working and learning. We'll hone in on those emotions. We'll continue to keep getting better. We will get better every single day. 1% better than your prior self every single chance you get. That's what we're going to be doing here. We're going to continue to keep collecting data so that we can have conviction in our business. Okay? And nothing's going to stop us from that. Leave the opinions elsewhere because I'm going to keep working no matter what. For the individuals that want to work with me, you know where to find me. I love working with other like-minded professionals, working and learning, going over these questions, going over this information. That's what's going to get us the conviction that we need to become very good executioners. We just got to keep showing up. Okay? So, thank you, thank you, thank you. I hope everybody has an amazing day. Do me a favor, follow me over to the My Funded Futures live stream. I will be going live on their channel in 15 minutes. I'm going to go grab a quick snack and a new cup of water. I will meet you all over there in 15 minutes. Thank you for your time today. I greatly appreciate every single one of you. I will see you all in a few minutes. Have a nice day.